Tarleton International Raceway and round 5 of Total Super Series 97. A sizable crowd has gathered, and to get them into the spirit of things, a display of riding skills by Peter Wrigglesworth on his 125 Honda. Not to be outdone, karting star and super truck debutant Claudio Piazzamusso in the creepy crawly Ford Courier. That's the way to do it. The main event in the junior motorcycle category, where the only unbeaten record in South African motorsport this year has to be defended. The whole shot belongs to Mario Forster on his Honda, but behind him, Gareth Swanepoel, who has a massive lead in the championship and hasn't been beaten this year, is lurking menacingly. It's Honda versus Kawasaki, with Forster and Swanepoel quickly starting to pull away from the rest of the field. It was a two-horse race as Swanepoel pulls up next to Forster and takes him on the inside. Roderick van der Westhuizen on his Kawasaki is in third. The battle for second position was between van der Westhuizen and reigning champion Jaco Wolmerans on his Honda. Further down the field, the riders were jockeying for position. The only real interest in this race was whether Swanepoel's unbeaten record would be broken. But as the race progressed, it became clear that only a mistake would stop him from winning his 15th race in a row in Total Super Series 97. Forster doesn't give up easily and was determined to push Swanepoel into a mistake. The Honda rider was second in both the previous races of the day, but just couldn't make the one step higher to catch and pass the Kawasaki. Man down, and it's Kyle Bowen who got it wrong on his Kawasaki. But the marshals were quickly at hand, and fortunately there's no serious injury. The battle for third between Roderick van der Westhuizen on the Kawasaki and reigning champ Jaco Wolmerans on his Honda. Wolmerans hasn't had a good season in Total Super Series this year and has gradually dropped down the championship ladder. In 8th position, it's Zach Buerter on his Yamaha. The chasing pack were gradually closing in on Wolmerans. Vaughan Dubisson on his Honda, Clayton Duckworth on his Kawasaki, and Craig Fensky on another Honda. Wolmerans seemed to have the edge through the corners, but van der Westhuizen was determined to stave him off. Swanepoel, a former 60cc world champion, was in great form once again and gradually pulled away from Forster. With only 2 more events to go and 70 points up for grabs, he's the overwhelming favourite to win the 1997 Junior Motorcycle Championship. Swanepoel won easily from Forster and van der Westhuizen, and these three also finished in that order in the overall results of the day.
Gareth, another 3 wins in a row for you today. Nothing seems to go wrong for you.
No, I've had very good luck. My bike's broken down once, but it was only in practice, and I had very good luck the whole year.
Still with bikes, but from 2 wheels to 4 as the main event in the Super Quad category gets underway. All of the riders are on 200cc Yamaha blaster machines, and the main protagonists are championship leader Evan Hutchinson and Jacques Struwig, who cleaned up in the previous event at AA Kyalami. Hutchinson in the lead, ahead of Clint Buckham, but somebody's down. It's Clayton Duplessis. He's okay, but he'll have to get out of the way very quickly. Buckham on number 77, but Hutchinson swoops into the corner in front of him. This looks much easier than it is. Hutchinson finished second behind Struwig in Heat 1 and won in the second race ahead of Struwig, so he needed a second win for the day to get the overall victory. Derek Robertson was in third. Number 30 is Derek Turner in 6th. Robertson was third in Heat 1 and 4th in Heat 2 and was going as hard as he could to catch the leaders, and a good scrap was developing between Hutchinson and Buckham. Buckham was 5th in both Heat 1 and 2 and was determined to hold on to the leader and force him into a mistake. Hutchison knew that he had to keep Struwig as far away from himself as possible because the Jojo Tanks rider has a reputation for strong finishes. Struwig, who had a bad start, was rapidly catching Robertson in third and Ricardo Giannocaro in fourth. Now there were two distinct groupings at the front of the field. Hutchison and Buckham battling it out for the lead, while Robertson had to defend his third position against Giannocaro and Struwig, who was pushing hard. Struwig is extremely fit, and both that and his smooth riding style has brought him much success of late in Total Super Series 97. It was great racing, holding the crowd spellbound, and on lap 4 things started to look different. Hutchison was still leading by an increased margin from Giannocaro. Buckham now down in third ahead of Struwig, and Robertson demoted to fifth. Once Struwig got past Robertson, he had Buckham in his sights, the ultimate objective being to catch and pass Hutchison in the lead. Struwig had no problem getting by Buckham, and now it was the turn of Giannocaro in second position. He started to close the gap rapidly. The Lennox Yamaha rider was aware that Struwig was on a charge and knew that pretty soon he might have a fight on his hands. All he could hope for was that Giannocaro would be able to keep Struwig at bay, but the Jojo Tanks rider was closing fast. Great support from the crowd as they willed Struwig on. The pressure on Giannocaro was tremendous, and as they went down the back straight, the expected mistake happened, and Struwig pounced like a tiger. Struwig now had a clear track ahead of him, and he set about catching Hutchison in the lead. But unfortunately for him, the laps ran out on him, and he didn't have enough time to catch the leader. Hutchison held on to his lead to take his second victory of the day. Struwig's 1 win and 2 second places gave him second overall for the day, and Giannocaro's 2 thirds and a fourth gave him third overall.
Evan, that was a totally dominating performance. Things coming right for you now.
Yeah, feeling better. The bike's flying. I think if it wasn't for Lennox, we would be struggling here today. But the bike is doing the work now. I'm riding it as fast as it can go. Yeah, and luckily we pulled it off. Tough day.